Welcome, everybody, to a special late night stream. We got Matthew Kadish with us here live. I'm Tom Connors, of course. Oh, I might as well be on stream. Why not?
Might as well. Show that beautiful face of yours.
As you can tell, I planned that. I just love showing off Anas's art there. That's really good. Of course, I got my Picard shirt on. Let's talk a little news. Since I might be gone tomorrow, I figured let's hit the news tonight real quick. The big news, the big news, of course, is the Obi-Wan Kenobi spinoff. Now, we talked about this months ago. We had gotten a leak about it, and then now it's in the news again. I'm not really surprised by this. The only thing that's really changed is it went from a movie to a series. And I think we heard that earlier, like a few months ago, that it was going to be a series possibly. Bring up the story here. Deadline is reporting though that this is confirmed. I guess they word it really strange.
So Variety, Hollywood Reporter, Deadline, they've all been reporting on this, but it's not confirmed, even though people are saying it. What happened was there was a online site called Cineflix that got some type of inside tip that the contract had been signed, that Ewan McGregor had signed on with Lucasfilm to reprise his role in what is believed to be a Disney Plus series based around the Obi-Wan character. And since then, all the industry mags have been jumping on this trying to confirm, but the only thing that they've been able to confirm as solid seems to be that Ewan McGregor is in talks with Disney.
Right. And that this is a plan. The same thing we've been reporting now for damn near a year, basically.
Yeah. So basically, it's still a rumor. We don't know for sure if he's actually signed a contract to return. It's just that there are talks happening to bring him back. But I'm thinking that the Cineflix story might actually be true, and that they're trying to hold off official confirmation until D3 in a couple weeks to make the big announcement there. So
yeah, that's what everybody thinks. Yeah.
So it is going to be interesting to see if because the Star Wars fandom wants this. They've been wanting Obi-Wan and Ewan McGregor to come back. Ewan McGregor has publicly said many times that he is all for coming back and reprising the role. So if this does actually turn out to be true, I think we're going to see a lot of Star Wars fans, even fans that were unhappy with The Last Jedi and who have been kind of anti-Star Wars since then. They might come around and actually start cheering for this.
Maybe. That is unless they turn Obi-Wan into Solo and they just have the story about him meeting some chick who kicks everybody's ass around him and saves his butt every 5 minutes,
And Michael Burnham him?
Well, they did the same thing to Solo, if you want, So I'm hopeful for this. Again, like you kind of said, love him or hate him, Obi-Wan, Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan was one of the few things that was probably universally beloved about the prequels.
Yeah, it was definitely the best part about the prequels.
Yeah, so again, as long as they make a decent story here, I'm on board. Do I believe these reports? Oh, hell yeah. We've been hearing this for a while. Like I said, we even reported that George Lucas may even be somewhat involved with this around a year ago to him being spotted at possible filming locations.
I think we can be pretty certain that this isn't going to be a movie. It's going to be.
Yeah. That was the only thing that really changed. Like I said, that's come between now and then. It was the whole thing when Iger came out and said, "Oh, we're kind of slowing things down a little bit and taking some time," and then it went from being a movie to a Disney Plus mini series, which, let's face it, is just going to be an elongated movie and basically, yeah.
So the question now is, who's going to be the one running the TV series?
Maybe it'll be something they throw at Favreau after he's done with Mandalorian.
Favreau's probably going to be busy with Mandalorian. We've got the Cassian Andor show as well. I don't know who's running that.
As far as Lucas's involvement, if he is actually involved, I think it's just going to be as a consultant or executive producer.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't do anything
anymore. No. As I said, the rumors just stated that he was seen at possible shooting locations, and that's.
But he always shows up, like he always shows up at all the Star Wars shoots for like a day.
Yeah. Well, and again, and this goes with the whole thing that it's not above the possibility that he could still have certain royalties and things. And even though he signed all this stuff over, he is the number one living owner of Disney shares. So it's like, if you don't count what's his face's estate, Apple,
Steve
Jobs, like George Lucas is at the top.
Yep.
So he's still got some capacity of, I don't want to say ownership, but or even say in this, but they are probably consulting him with things, especially.
Tom, what if you were in Kathleen Kennedy's position? If you were running Lucasfilm, who would you hire to do a Obi-Wan TV series? Like,
if Lucas wasn't available, I would get. I mean, Dave Filoni has been well regarded as far as the Clone Wars. I don't know if he'd be wanting to jump up into live action.
He's working on Mandalorian, isn't he?
Dave Filoni, I think he is partially. So, I mean, you could have him jump from that to that. Gosh, I really don't know. A lot of people are already tied up in things, or they'd be like big.
Well, I'm talking about your dream cast. Like if you had your druthers, who would you want?
Oh, I don't know.
Besides Lucas,
Quentin Tarantino. I don't know. Love him or hate him, I think somebody like Kevin Smith might be all right. He's at that level for something.
Really? You think Kevin Smith would?
I don't know. Somebody who actually would have a love for Star Wars. That's my problem. And I keep jumping to people like Jon Favreau and, maybe even James Gunn. I don't know.
I would like to see Graham Yost take on an Obi-Wan TV series.
That's not a bad choice, probably.
I think he would do a great job with it, personally.
Right.
Graham Yost, he wrote the movie Speed. He produced Sneaky Pete, Justified, The Americans. Like, he's got a long track record in doing really good TV, really good character stuff. I think he'd probably be a good fit for an Obi-Wan type adventure.
Right.
But I mean, who knows at this point? Kathleen Kennedy might hire Brett Ratner to produce this series at the rate she's going.
I think he's been pretty much blackballed, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. But, I mean, like, that even goes more towards Kathleen Kennedy's
right.
need to hire the wrong people.
Shit here, sorry. Yeah, well, that's just it. I really don't know who I'd want to see do this. I mean, even George Lucas is somebody I'm like, sit down, you've had your time. I'm not one of those who's all like pro Lucas coming back or anything like that.
What might be interesting is if they get Ron Howard and his producing partner to kind of do this movie.
I think he's busy with Willow, but that's not a horrible idea. He'd be somebody I'd trust.
Yeah, but he's capable of producing more than one show at a time, right?
Right. I don't know what I have no idea what capacity he's going to be dealing with Willow in, but yeah. So.
And that means we'd get a Clint Howard cameo in a Obi-Wan series.
Oh, God. I could only imagine what they'd put him in there, some junk dealer or something, probably.
So what exactly does this Deadline article say?
Let's run through
confirming stuff.
Ewan McGregor may be picking up his lightsaber again. The 48-year-old Scottish actor is in talks about reprising his role as the heartfelt but headstrong Jedi Master known as Obi-Wan Kenobi. A yet-to-be-titled Disney Plus series, Deadline, has confirmed. So that part has been confirmed. That's as you were stating, but people are running with this as, and I did, without actually really paying attention at first, to a point to some people saying, oh, it's been confirmed, it's been confirmed. What has been confirmed is that he's in talks for a series that is in development.
Yeah, it's not been confirmed that he's actually signed on. It's just that.
No, but I mean, it's pretty much a done deal. That's the thing. This is one of those few cases where jumping the gun like this is probably not, out of the realm of possibility.
Read between the lines.
Yeah, details about the series following the Jedi have been kept under wraps. Yada, yada, yada. Most of the rest of this is just filler.
They got to hit that 500 word count.
Yeah.
How do we turn a rumor into something people want to read?
They do bring up that it sounds like it may be a demotion in status and priority and a reaction to the disappointing returns on the Solo film, talking about it being on Disney Plus instead of an actual movie, as it's been rumored to be all this time. But I'm not surprised. I'm really not. I mean...
Well, Disney has... Disney has their Star Wars film slate already pretty hammered down. So you got like the Avatar movies, then the Star Wars movies kind of alternating. And then once all 5 Avatar movies have been finished, it starts off with the new trilogy from Rian Johnson. So basically, the movie slate's full, so we know that this was never going to be a movie. And they're really focusing on their Star Wars offerings on Disney Plus. Because if you look at what Marvel's doing, like how many series does Marvel have? The WandaVision, the the Falcon and Winter Soldier,
Yeah,
the
at least
Hawkeye,
3 or 4, yeah.
Loki. Like there's just Marvel, and we've only got 2 confirmed live action Star Wars series. So we can probably expect a lot more Star Wars content coming at us through Disney Plus than in the theaters.
Right, and that's just it. I mean, and again, this could be very well a reaction to Solo, but I'm thinking this choice was made well before Solo was probably a big problem. And Pretty Little Light asks, excuse me, if you think they'll try to cut out George again by making Kenobi slightly different.
25% different Kenobi.
Yeah, I know you don't agree with that report, but I do say that there's probably some legitimacy to it, and I think the way we handled it was probably better than some others. But no. In fact, the report that we did in November, which I'll link in this description here, they had actually spotted George Lucas where they're planning on filming this, scouting locations, and I can't remember the guy's name, but
here's the thing about that. Like Disney has basically unlimited funds.
Right.
They are used to paying out royalties to all types of creators and actors and stuff like that.
Well, as I said, he's also a stockholder.
Yeah, and they would not make they would not try to penny pinch on George Lucas. Like if they owed him royalties for using the character or something like that, that wouldn't stop them from using the characters if they felt that they could.
No, but what it would do is make them give C-3PO a red arm and put red marks and change the dish on
but that
Falcon. If JJ wanted money on the toys, though, that's a big possibility.
Yeah, the red arm on 3PO, typically when a studio makes the decision to make a change like that, it's to differentiate it from previous licenses so that the people who own the old licenses can't capitalize off of the new stuff. They have to buy
the old license. Exactly. I know. And I get what you're saying, but I think George is the big part of it here too, though.
I don't agree.
Yeah, I don't know. He's always been really integral in the toys. That's one thing. But
he's completely removed from everything now. So he's just kind of he's just kind of the godfather. He kind of moseys on in when he wants to. He says hi to everyone. He shakes hands and he leaves. I mean, like, he doesn't have any real involvement in this stuff anymore. And I don't think he wanted to have involvement in it. So why would
not in that capacity? No. But again, and I know from a very good source that we got that he wanted to actually just give Lucasfilm away.
Yeah, he was sick of Star Wars.
But I think that doesn't mean he's going to just sign off on his everything. Rob, welcome.
It does. I think it does.
I don't know. I don't think he's going to just give away the rights to the toys, and I don't think he's going to give away his rights to the special editions.
But I mean, no, he sold those rights with everything else. Like that was part of the deal, wasn't it?
Part of it could be, but again, you have a situation like with Marvel and stuff like that, where even though they own Marvel, they still have to pay and give credit to those who create.
But I mean, like that's such a small pittance. Like when
Disney and again, it doesn't really. I don't think it's the big problem. No,
I'm just saying when Disney bought Star Wars, I don't believe there's any way that they would ever have allowed Lucas to keep any of his merchandising rights or anything like that. That had to be part of the deal. They had to own that stuff outright.
It may have been something they had no control over. Again, and that's the thing that I don't know per se. Rob, are you there? Or are you having issues?
Yeah, I'm here.
There he is. Okay, I didn't know.
Welcome, Rob.
How you doing, Rob?
I'm once again a disembodied floating boob. So
yes, you are. You could turn your cam on. No, I might. As I told everybody before, I might be gone tomorrow, so I figured we'd cover a couple things.
Where are you going? You think the mob taking out a hit on you?
Coming to Vegas.
No, I'm never coming back
to Vegas.
No, I wish. No, I'm going to go see that Tarantino movie in the morning, and then I might have to go to some concerts because a friend of mine got some free tickets. So we'll see.
Those are the best kind of tickets, free tickets.
Right, but except for only. It's Kip Winger and
oh god,
part of Great White and some other band I've never heard of. So I'm like, I don't know.
I just saw Winger opening for Cinderella back in 1990. That's how far back that goes. So
yeah, but we're talking about the quote unquote confirmation here from Deadline. That isn't quite a confirmation. It's more or less just confirming that they are talking to Ewan McGregor, and they are planning on doing this.
It's confirming there's a rumor.
Yeah.
Basically.
And I know coming from us, that's strange. But again, we all said this is probably one of those rumors you can bank on.
Yeah.
We're confirming that there's a rumor that's possibly going to maybe potentially speculatively star someone who might be connected to Obi-Wan Kenobi.
The author of this article's brother, sister's cousin's roommate has a source in Lucasfilm that has told them that there might be negotiations going on for a contract that Ewan McGregor is going to sign to come back for
Mel
Star
Brooks. I'll be very disappointed if it's not Mel Brooks. Anyway, no. Yeah. So like, this is just one of those things where it's like, I mean, I believe it. I do. I really do. And unless they turn around and offer, unless they really lowball Ewan McGregor,
I think it's looking more and more credible as time goes by. Like, it broke this morning. It was from a third-tier news site that nobody had ever heard of before. All of a sudden, everyone's trying to find out, is this rumor true? Because it blew up on social media. And so you have Deadline, Hollywood Reporter, Variety. They're reaching out to their sources, and they've only been able to confirm that talks are in process. But I think that if indeed this leak is true, Lucasfilm is trying to keep a wrap on it because they want to have that big surprise at D23.
well, nothing stays.
How curious.
Nothing ever does. So I think, yeah, this will all be confirmed at D23, but this is like basically.
Do you think all the ill will behind Galaxy's Edge and all that stuff? Do you think that's lit a fire? You can see my dirty laundry back here. That's not very. Not
Then
cool.
move the camera over, Rob. That's why I have a green screen, so you can't see what
the seedy underbelly of
dog
shabby
makes, man. Because she like rips through the house and she's huge and she makes a mess. Let's move on to the next story anyway, unless Rob had anything else to add.
Dirty laundry.
There was a text or a tweet, not a text, a tweet earlier this morning, way earlier. Well, it'd be almost 24 hours ago now. Blomkamp.
See, I moved the guitar in front of it. It's not as unsightly now.
All right, I'll start over again. Neil Blomkamp in the middle of the night decided to tweet out that he was no longer working on Robocop Return. Weird that he did it in the middle of the night.
He was probably pissed, to tell you the truth.
We'll get into that. Let's just first let me bring up the tweet here for so we can talk about it at face value for what it says, and then we'll really dig into it because there's more to this than
it's a very terse tweet. Like, you can tell, like, when he was writing it, he probably was drunk or
something's
or angry texting or something like
something. I should have had this ready. This is
I'm working on the Robocop.
Reminds me of Josh Trank's tweets around the time that Fan Four Stick was going through its rigmarole. Like, it just seems like very kind of like F this, F that. I hate the world.
Anyway, so he says, in just a real quick tweet, off Robocop, I'm shooting new horror thriller, and MGM can't wait. Need to shoot Robocop now. Excited to watch it in theaters with other fans. And in other words, Neil.
Maybe. Is he Australian?
No, he's South African.
South African. Yeah.
So for those of you who might not be familiar with what's going on, MGM, after they tried to reboot RoboCop back in, I think it was 2007. I don't remember the year exactly, or 2017. But they tried to reboot RoboCop. It failed. And so they've been trying to continue with the franchise. And what Neil Blomkamp was brought on to do was to direct a direct sequel to the original RoboCop. And Blomkamp has been working on this for a really long time. He recently gave some updates on what was happening. He's working on the script with, I believe, the screenwriter for Terminator Dark Fate. And it was going to be a continuation of the events that Verhoeven had started in the first film. And he was going to direct it in the style of Paul Verhoeven. It was going to feel very 80s. It was going to be very brutal. It was going to be R-rated. And he was really high on this movie. And he was really he'd update his Twitter feed about it. And then today, out of nowhere, apparently what happened was he was attached to a horror thriller that he was going to shoot. MGM wanted to move up the production of RoboCop. It conflicted with this. And apparently MGM, because they wanted to, move ahead with the film, they pushed or basically fired Blomkamp and for scheduling conflicts. But this seems kind of suspicious to me. I don't know about you guys, but this seems very suspicious.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest. I heard a rumor. I know you hate it when I say this, Matt. But I heard a rumor.
Mind rumors as long as they come from a source that you can vet.
I don't know if you can necessarily vet the rumor, or vet the source, but I mean, I kind of trust the source and what the source said, I believe, if that helps. They said that Neil presented his budget and MGM said, fuck you.
That wouldn't surprise me. MGM does not have a lot of money.
And then they just dumped a bunch of money on the Russo brothers too, let's not forget. And this was also coming from the original writers of Robocop as well. That needs to be pointed out. So this was supposed to be, as Matt was pointing out, a direct original sequel to the original. They had been in talks with Peter Weller, I guess, was also another rumor that came out, and Blomkamp even just like a month ago, I think it was tweeting stuff out about, yes, it's going to have the original suit. Yes, it's going to be a direct sequel, blah, blah, blah. And now this. I can't imagine any horror movie being more important than this, so I believe that rumor. I really do. I don't think that he just willy-nilly was like, I've got to do this other movie first. He's been developing. Weird? Yeah, go ahead.
What's weird about Blomkamp is that he has a very checkered history with projects. Like, his stuff gets canceled all the time. He was supposed to do the Halo movie. That got canceled. He was attached to a bunch of stuff that kind of failed to launch. The last thing he did was a commercial for the video game Anthem, and apparently it had absolutely nothing to do with the video game. So people are like, "What is this thing?" But
right.
So he has this weird history of being attached to projects, which just kind of like end up not happening. So in a way, this isn't a surprise, but at the same time, like if your rumor, if your source is true and his budget was just way too high for this, then I can see MGM basically nixing it, but I can't see them exactly kicking him off the project because of that.
No, because the way it sounds, let's look at it this way. This is what I said in the video earlier, and I brought up. Neil needs this movie.
Does he?
Like, I think so, because Chappie didn't do well, Elysium didn't do well. This is the movie he needed to get himself back up there, or he's going to be doing Wagon Train commercials and not Anthem commercials after this. Because what has he done lately? What has he been able to get off the ground? Because like you said, everything gets canceled on him. And a lot of those were results of what, Chappie's box office and stuff like that.
Oh, Chappie and District 9 and Elysium, those were all shot really cheaply in South Africa.
Well, the first one was, yes, and made a buttload of money. But the latter two didn't make much money, especially stateside, to the point where people hate it. I love Chappie. Chappie, but people.
It was basically a short circuit. But
yeah,
did they end up losing money? Is the question, because if they broke even or made like a small profit,
I don't think I know Elysium lost money. But go ahead, Rob.
Didn't he make District 9?
That was his big claim to fame. Yeah,
that was his big debut. He's also Peter Jackson's protege, if I remember correctly.
That is a movie I did see and I did like, but because you always say I don't go see movies, I actually did see that.
No, Elysium actually had a $115 million budget and only made $93 million in the U.S. and $286 overall. So that was not a very good haul for that.
Yeah, but it broke even at least.
Barely, yes. And Chappie, I don't think did very well either.
But the whole thing is, like you said, Chappie
Chappie luckily had a lower budget at $49 billion, but it only made 30 in the U.S. and didn't even barely break overall.
Entirely set. It was set in South Africa. It was entirely set in South Africa.
It was shot in South Africa.
It was shot in South. Same difference. But
either way, like I said, I don't see any movie that could be that important for Neil that he could have turned this down or turned away from this. Like, this was his choice.
Well, but then again, like if the movie was going forward and it had already been scheduled and he was locked in to do it, and then MGM's like, oh, we want to move up the production on Robocop.
Perhaps.
He's like, I can't. I have other commitments. That could have been. But what this sounds like is that there was something that happened that forced MGM to push Blomkamp out. So I'm thinking that there's some behind the scenes stuff going on here that we don't know about, because this is just very suspicious. Like it's not like Blomkamp's like, oh, I'm leaving the project. He sounds like, just from this tweet, he sounds justifiably upset because he was working really hard on this. Like that much is obvious. So I can tell he's
That's where
probably
I'm
just
coming from. It'd be different if he just signed on 3 months ago. Then I'd understand. No, he's been working on this for over a year now, almost. So there's been a year in development. That's usually basically what you need to get a movie off the ground once you've been greenlit. And it's not like this has been a secret. He's been very excited about it, as you said, and I think he was ready to go. I think they just said, no, we're not going to do this. And they gave him an alternate budget. And he's like, I can't do it on that budget. I just can't. And they're like, well, sorry, that's your budget. And we have to have this by summer, period.
That's very likely. That's very likely.
And then, and that whole thing with Alien that fell apart. Remember that mini documentary we did?
That was the other film that he was working on, Alien 5.
And that's half the reason I think he's still even valuable in Hollywood is because it kind of proved way Ridley Scott ruined Covenant, that they should have went with Neil's movie. Probably we'll never know now, probably. But go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
I was going to say he was attached to Alien 5, right? And that was another thing that was just like this, where he put in a lot of work, and then his deal at Fox kind of fell through, or something like that. I'm not.
No, the real story is Ridley Scott came in and said, "I'm going to do my thing, and we're going to wait to do yours," which basically meant yours isn't going to happen.
There was no confirmation that there even was a script for Neil Blomkamp.
Well, there was back and forth between was it a treatment or a script, but it didn't matter because the moment Ridley Scott came into the picture, Neil Blomkamp was pretty much out.
Yeah, that was out the window.
Poor Neil, can't catch a break.
And that's what I'm saying. I think that's where this project came about. I think that this is one of those situations where it's like, look, kid, we know you probably had the better idea. We'll never know. He went and fucked that up. So you're looking better in this situation. We'll give you this Robocop thing. He spent a year working on it, said this is what he wants to do. It's going to cost probably $115 to $120 million. They said, can you do it for 60? He's like, no. And that was the end of it. I think that's pretty much the cut and dry version anyway.
So guys, you know how we were talking the other day about how once Paramount and Viacom remerge, they may go on an acquisition spree. How likely is it, do you think, a Viacom CBS would acquire MGM?
MGM is one of the higher ones on the list. They're probably right underneath Sony. Like if they can get Sony, they'll take Sony. But if they can't get Sony, they'll probably go after MGM and Lionsgate. They may go after all three. I've heard rumors they're already eyeballing on Lionsgate anyway because Lionsgate's been trying to sell themselves for a while.
How crazy would it be if Viacom CBS, which owns Star Trek, acquires MGM and then owns Stargate as well?
It could be under a better roof, and they could cross-pollinate it with Star Trek and make the property more valuable without devaluing Star Trek at the same time, possibly. I don't know.
I think that would be interesting. I think it'd be interesting to see
could be
some new Stargate stuff on the like CBS All Access or something.
That could be a possibility. That's the thing. MGM doesn't have a lot of stuff, but they do have some things that are valuable and a lot more than what CBS Paramount probably has under their own umbrella. So that's a good possibility.
I know CBS Paramount has a lot of stuff.
They do, but it's like as far as like what they own on their own without some other person's involvement.
I'm wondering how long it's going to be before we see like a Godfather streaming series.
Oh God, I hope not.
Like a Titanic sequel. You know? Once Paramount and CBS get back together.
Are you crazy? It won't be a sequel. It'll be a prequel.
Oh, okay, sorry, prequel. We'll see Jack drawing one of his French girls. Finally.
Yeah, we'll actually see how he learned how to draw. Yeah, this is a bit of a rumor that Rob might be interested in. I don't even know if he's heard it yet, so I'm going to spring it on him right now. I seen this earlier. I'm not sure. It could be real. It's another one of those, it might be real category. They're eyeballing Pierce Brosnan to play Alfred Pennyworth in the new Batman movie alongside Twilight Boy. What do you think of that?
Okay, whatever. It's just, I mean, usually Alfred's older. I mean,
well, he's not a young chicken anymore. I mean, he's not
60, maybe.
He's probably at least Pierce Brosnan. Gotta be.
He's older than that, ain't he?
I was gonna say.
I don't know. He looks great for his age. No
yeah, of course, yeah.
I'm kind of disappointed in this though because I felt like who was the guy who played
66? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's the guy who played Alfred in the Zack Snyder Batman?
Jeremy Irons.
Oh, Jeremy Irons. Yeah.
Jeremy Irons was so good in that role. Like I thought he did a really good job as Alfred.
He was the one thing I actually did like in that movie.
I could see Brosnan doing a similar Alfred, I guess.
Well, he'd definitely be like his own Alfred. But what's interesting is like there's a new series on Epix, I think, that or Stars, one of those two, that it's called Pennyworth, and it focuses on Alfred.
Disregard, because I don't like Batman shows without Batman. But anyway,
it's stupid. But I've actually heard some good things. I kind of want to check it out. But it's weird that there's so much focus on Alfred in recent times, because you'd think that the focus would be more on Batman. But I think that since they're casting a younger Batman, it makes sense that they cast a different Alfred. And Pierce Brosnan, they could do a lot worse than Pierce Brosnan.
Oh, yeah, I don't think it's a horrible choice. I think he's all right.
At least it's not like a black woman like with the James Bond thing.
Not a horrible choice, but
that would be a little counterproductive if they would
Alice Pennyworth.
Well, if they did that though, then they'd be accused of being racist because they would be making the black lady the butler.
Yeah.
So, or the servant, or whatever you want to call it.
But she's secretly Batman.
Oh yeah, well that's the cure.
Yeah. I just can't get past Shovelface as Batman, or Bruce Wayne.
Sparkly Batman is just the cover for.
But he's done other movies since Twilight. Haven't you seen those? No, and I don't want to.
Have you guys heard anything about Batwoman or Batgirl?
The Batwoman series, just that it sucks.
I know that there was some controversy around the time that Comic-Con was going on, where that the lead actress, I forget, Ruby Rose.
Yeah, Ruby Rose. Yep.
She was supposed to sign, or she was supposed to show up, and then she canceled at the last minute because she was getting online bullied or something like that. Because fan reaction to the initial trailer for Batwoman was so bad. And so she kind of chickened out at showing up, kind of like she pulled a Benioff and Weiss, basically. She didn't want to face angry fans.
Well, what's funny is the fans that were this quote unquote fans that were speaking out against the show when they first brought it up were saying that she wasn't gay enough, and it was the LGBT community that were all pissed off.
But I've heard that test audiences for the Batwoman pilot have been so negative that
that's what I heard.
So bad that they've been really trying hard to like retool the series before it airs, which I think is interesting. But there's also this rumor, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but there's a rumor that there are 4 new Arrowverse shows in the pipeline to be released once Arrow goes off the air, because they're really popular.
Oh, I fell out of Arrow a long time ago. I liked.
I believe one of them's The Question. And that might be what Kevin Smith.
That could very well be, but he said it. But again, like I think you pointed it out, he said it was going to be a
nostalgic
IP. So what if I said what if he's making the Superman with Brandon Routh or something like that? Maybe.
I don't know how nostalgic that is.
Well, it's nostalgic in a sense that the Superman Returns was nostalgic in itself for the original Superman.
Well, there's a lot of talk about and speculation about how this Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover that they got planned is going to open up the doors for all types of offshoots.
Right.
So, like, anything is pretty much possible.
Well, I don't follow the shows, but I've heard 2 rumors now that Superman's going to pop up in Teen Titans and another show. I can't remember what it was. They didn't say which Superman though.
Any idea what Arrowverse shows they're gonna?
Well, he said The Question is one of them.
What are they?
Yeah,
are you considering
they're all very obscure DC comic characters that they're gonna supposedly give their own series to. So it should be interesting. I think one of them is Metal Men. The Metal Men. I don't know if you guys remember that team.
A little bit.
But kind of doing what they did with Legends of Tomorrow, where you just take these obscure DC things and give them their own show. Well, and oddly enough, this might be in response to needing content for HBO Max. So these things might not even be on the CW; they might be on HBO Max. So who knows at this point?
Well, a few of us, I think Gary included at Nerdrotic, have said that we have a feeling that the DC streaming service is just going to get soaked up into HBO Max. Yeah,
I mean, I don't think it's doing too well. I also heard that Marlon Wayans is lobbying very hard to be Plastic Man.
Well, and I've heard, and I'm okay. I can probably say this now because it's out there. Robert Shea told us about Plastic Man like a year ago, almost. So that's been something that's been on the cards for a while. But that was originally, I think, it's supposed to be a movie. I don't know about a series.
Yeah, I don't know what the thing was. I just know that for the role, Marlon Wayans is lobbying for it very
Yeah,
hard.
he could do worse than that, but I don't know. I hate it when actors lobby for roles.
Yeah, I'd really
It's
like to see
like-
Jim Carrey as Plastic Man. I think he'd do a good job.
Not a bad choice, but I don't know. Did you say Drew or Jim?
Not Drew. Why would Drew Carey be a?
That's what I said. I thought he said Jim at first too, because that's who I said, and everybody's like, "No, he's too old." It's like, I don't know. I think it'd be a nice comeback for him. But
Jim Carrey was supposed to be the $6 billion man. Remember, it had up to $1 billion because of its inflation.
Wasn't
Speaking
Kevin
of
Smith
Kevin
at one
Smith,
point?
yep,
attached
he
to
was
that?
attached to that for many, many years. Yes, and it was under him that they had to change it to $1 billion. Yep, he even
I feel
said
bad for Kevin Smith. Like he's been attached to so many like possibly great movies like Superman and like all this stuff, and like it never happens for him.
Oh, I know. He's supposed to make a Fletch movie years ago.
Yeah.
He even went to bat for Chevy Chase, and Chevy Chase ended up throwing him under the bus years
Yeah.
later. You know, it was like, man, dude. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff Kevin Smith was supposed to make that not Green Lantern, but Green Hornet movie. He was supposed to,
Which probably would have been much better had he made it.
I almost feel like they used his script, even though he's not listed, I don't think, as one of the writers. I still feel like that there's a lot of the lines in there that feel very Kevin.
That's possible. Of course, you can say that was what was the actor's name in that, the comedian?
Oh, Seth
Rogen.
Rogen, who everybody said that basically stole Kevin Smith's shtick and ran with it and made billions. Yeah.
Well, his style of humor is very similar to Kevin Smith's, I think. But yeah, you know, I feel like he was miscast in that role, and the movie was not done right, unfortunately. Could have been a new franchise.
Well, from the sound of things, you should have Simon Pegg play Plastic Man, because that's all he is anymore is plastic. So
that's not true. I met Simon Pegg a few years ago.
well, I've just seen a picture of him, man. He don't look good. Did you see him recently?
Not for like 2-3 years. No.
I was gonna say, man,
He was just on The Boys. He looked fine.
He's had some work done.
well, not Simon Pegg. Who did I mean? Never mind. That's not who I meant.
The other guy.
Yeah, the other guy.
The other Simon Pegg.
No, I'm trying to think of his name now. Anyway, forget it. It doesn't matter. The joke is long past. So yeah, we're all pretty much like went past this Brosnan thing. It's like, okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, like who cares who plays Alfred? Honestly,
It's actually important. I would say almost as important, but in this case, they have yet to miscast Alfred. So
I think it's more important like who's playing Batman and you know, Robert Pattinson. I'm kind of on the fence. I mean, like I didn't like the casting of Ben Affleck, but then when I saw him in the movie, I felt like he did a good job.
Affleck, yeah.
So like I'm wondering if it's going to be the same thing with Pattinson. But,
I hope so.
I mean, like he's done grittier, darker roles leading up to this, so he might have some chops to him. But we'll have to wait and see, I guess.
Oh, that popped up too soon. Anyway, we might as well jump into that then.
I made a joke about this the other day.
We just were talking about this, and that's why I decided to bring it up. Disney is now planning to reboot the Die Hard series, and I don't know if this is the article that says it, but one of them said basically what I said, and that was that they didn't have Die Hard 6 far enough along for it to be considered by Disney to keep going, but instead now, according to one of their, I think as a producer or something like that. Let me see here.
Don't tell me. Let me guess. With a vegan trans woman of color who's also handicapped.
The problem with Die Hard is it's been ripped off so many damn times now that
it's had so many iterations of it. But you know, John McClane, he's the original Die Hard. So the question is, like Tom, you were saying that their plan might be to do like a prequel.
Well,
that they show like the young John McClane doing like his cop stuff.
Yeah, see, that's the one that
Nakatomi Tower.
Yeah, that's the one that was canceled. And that's in this story here, evidently. But yeah, McClane was the idea was going to have Bruce Willis with a young version playing him in his first case or whatever. I don't know if they'll go back to that. It doesn't sound to be that way. It sounds like it's going to be a complete reboot.
I think that's smart. I think that at this point they need to get rid of Bruce Willis and use a younger actor to try to, you know, revive the franchise in some way. Like it'd be interesting to see if they go in the more like Die Hard with a Vengeance direction, with a reboot, or if they just are going to remake the first Die Hard movie, which is a terrible idea because it's the most classic Christmas movie ever made.
Oh my god, 100 people are going to like tweet at you know.
just show Carl gunning down Steve Urkel. Oh, Steve, you all fucked up. Oh, Steve.
Carl, why did you do that? It's hard.
I'm sorry, Steve.
I don't know if you've heard our little rant about fan theories, about how we hate fan theories, but we have one fan theory that we love, and that is that what's his face, Reginald Val Johnson, is that his name? I think his real name.
From Family Matters. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the reason he says he doesn't he jockeys a desk and all that kind of shit and Die Hard is because he shot a kid in the dark. Well, Rob and I have this theory that the kid he shot in the dark was Steve Urkel, and he had to get moved from
Chicago. Yeah, it's
or whatever.
It's funny because he played a cop in Family Matters too.
Exactly, you're figuring it out now.
Steve, what are you doing here? Don't move.
Tom, can we go back to that article about the movies that Disney was canceling for Fox?
Yeah, I can get that up.
Because there were some things on there that I was like, really? They're canceling that?
Well, that doesn't mean they won't pick it back up, but like this one, these were just ones that were not far enough along at the Fox studio for them.
I can understand canceling Chronicle 2 because that movie wasn't good.
Well, this we know is bullshit. They said the Garfield and Zorro reboots have been saved. Well, Garfield just got sold to Paramount, aka Nickelodeon. So,
well, a big thing was the Magic the Gathering announcement. Didn't that get picked up by Netflix or something like that?
Have been
the original series?
Yeah, this is from a while ago. This is from way back in. It says 7 days. No, it's been longer than that, hasn't it?
Disney decided to cancel Tom.
Well, it was months ago that they announced the Magic the Gathering.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say a lot of this stuff I knew for a while. Like they said flat out, if it wasn't far enough along.
A Mega Man series. Wow. That'd be cool.
Well, anything that denies Michael B. Jordan work is good.
You don't like Michael B. Jordan?
Assassin's Creed, I'm not surprised.
He was really good in Creed. I liked him.
No, okay.
I liked him in The Wire. I think some good stuff. Now, Flash Gordon. Now that's something that needs to be rebooted. Come on, come on, Disney.
But it would star a white man.
That's
right. We can't have that.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen should definitely be a reboot. Like that could be a huge franchise. Like the first movie. I don't know if you guys ever read the comics. The comics were really
familiar with the comics, yeah.
But the movie was just an abomination.
Comparison, yeah.
The thing is, Michael B. Jordan is like the younger, much less interesting American version of Idris Elba. Everybody talks about him being in everything, but he's he's not in a whole lot of movies. It seems like.
But he's a good actor, though.
But all his fans want to vote him into everything. That's the other thing too. Michael B. Jordan should be in this movie. Where do I vote? You don't get the vote, asshole. It's not the fucking All-Star game.
Or are you not going to see the Matrix prequel that he's starring in as young Morpheus?
I doubt he's even seen the Matrix 2 or 3. I'll be honest.
I saw the Matrix.
Those movies don't exist.
I saw the Matrix.
There's only one Matrix.
Like, you know what? Done.
Yeah. Now I had heard that The Sandlot was actually progressing as a TV series.
Something about that too. Yeah,
it's not a prequel though. As a sequel, like they're bringing back all the kids as adults, and it's going to be focusing on them with their own kids and baseball and stuff like that.
Now, if they actually get the actual actors, I'd be interested.
Yeah, they're getting all the original kid actors back as grown-ups, and they're going to go through like some type of like mini series where it's them teaching their kids baseball or having a reunion or something like that. It was kind of interesting to hear about that, but it sounds like this was an older idea for a prequel to The Sandlot, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I guess maybe like the guy who owned the dog.
It like Sandlot Babies? Yeah, I was gonna say
like a young James Earl Jones, played by Michael B. Jordan. How he gets that ball.
They voted on their
the story of how I got that dog.
Yeah, how he got the dog, how he got the signed baseball.
On Gillette razors like we did back in the 70s.
Well, this is a very disappointing slate of cancellations. I'd like to see some of these things actually go through.
Well, like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen screams like a Netflix series kind of thing, so it might wind up on like that. Like I said, this doesn't necessarily mean any of these things are dead. It just means that these versions of these are probably dead. We already know, like McClane, this version's probably dead. because they're planning on rebooting it. So
Assassin's Creed 2, don't care.
And I'm not sure if I want to see like Chris Pratt play John McClane or anybody like that either. So I'm not sure who the fuck would you cast as John McClane? Who can live up to Bruce Willis? I don't know. What do you think, Matt?
That's a tough call. Like definitely not a Chris Pratt, but like like some type of younger actor who's got some comedic chops to him, but can also pull off the action stuff. It's hard to say, like
Ryan
casting.
Reynolds?
No, Ryan, not Ryan.
Chris Pratt probably would be the biggest choice.
I can't say. I could see Chris Pratt as a rebooted Indiana Jones, but
I've said that a few times. Yeah,
Bradley Cooper. The typical names come up. Chris Pratt.
Bradley Cooper's probably almost too old now, though.
Yeah, definitely. Well, in the book that Die Hard was based on, the cop John McClane, he was like in his 50s.
Yeah, well, then the book the book that Die Hard is based on is actually a sequel to a book that they made into a movie back in the 60s too. I can't remember the name of, but it had Frank Sinatra in it.
Yeah.
But it was a different name, so they just changed the name and every one of the Die Hards has been based on a book that wasn't a Die Hard book except for the first movie. If you want to call it that, the franchise, I guess. And then
I had a great pitch for a Die Hard movie that I tried to float when I was back in Hollywood and never went anywhere, unfortunately.
Well, I'm sure everybody could come up with a decent Die Hard movie. Anything's better than that last one, because that last one was the script that's been dragging around Hollywood for years, and I'm glad they never made it. And then when they did, it was like, oh my god!
It was fun. It's funny because like in Hollywood, there was this kind of running joke where everyone, like, the elevator pitch was always, it's Die Hard in a boat. Or
well, that's what I was saying. Like, why would you want to remake Die Hard when it's been so ripped off already?
But it got to the point where it got so absurd that there was actually a guy who gave the pitch where he's like, it's Die Hard in a building. People were like, okay, this has gone too far.
That was the movie Skyscraper. Is that what you were going to say, Rob?
Yeah, Skyscraper.
I mean, it's basically Die Hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Die Hard with The Rock.
Olympus has fallen as Die Hard in the White House.
Mm-hmm. Speed 2, Die Hard on a boat. Speed, Die Hard on a bus.
Jason Gallagher says Tom Hardy. That's not a horrible choice, I guess. I don't know.
I told you that the terrorists are going to have to break in here.
Oh, good God, Mighty Wolf, please be wrong.
Melissa McCarthy. Directed by Paul Feig.
Oh, God, no!
Produced by Amy Pascal.
It'll be Sonequa Martin Green. That's what it'll be. Because she's the bestest ever.
Quit giving them fucking ideas, Rob.
Well, who's that? What production company has a deal at Disney that could potentially do the Die Hard franchise?
No idea.
You think of anyone related to Bad Robot?
Oh yeah, a secret reboot. Well, secret hideout.
Well, no, they're at Paramount CBS, so they have a deal there.
Maybe we should start calling them Bad Reboot.
That's what they call Bad Robot, right? Bad Reboot.
Bad Reboot. Secret Robot or something. Whatever. I can picture J.J. Abrams taking a stab at it. Somebody like him.
Oh, he's at Warner's though. So.
Oh yeah, but I can picture somebody who's another hack like J.J. Abrams. Well, there is no really other hack like J.J. Abrams.
Not on his level, quite. No. Maybe they resurrect Roberto Orci and give him this.
Neil Blomkamp.
Oh, that'd be sad. Kevin Smith.
Oh, Kevin he was in Die Hard 4.
He was in Die Hard 4, but I don't know if he'd be right for it, especially considering the fact that him and Bruce Willis.
I heard they kind of made up.
Yeah, but they're never going to work together again.
Oh, that I don't know about. I don't know if Bruce will ever work again. That's it.
He's still pumping out those direct-to-video.
That's different. Like as far as his big movies, that's where I think that like more like Disney's like, yeah, we're not sure we want to work with Bruce Willis probably than anything.
Well, he's given up. Like he just shows up. He looks like he's half conscious when he's saying his line. He stopped caring. He just stopped caring.
I had like a rabid feminist English composition teacher who absolutely hated Die Hard. And she was like, that was like the first inkling I got. Oh yeah, this is not going to end well.
John McTiernan. John McTiernan made three truly great films in his career.
Yeah.
One was Predator, the other was Die Hard, and the final one was Hunt for October.
Well, I was going to say Die Hard with a Vengeance, because I actually like Die Hard with a Vengeance almost.
I like Die Hard with a Vengeance, but it's not the classic that Die Hard was, or Predator, or Hunt for
It may not be the classic, but I like it because it's not like Die Hard 2. See, a lot of people love Die Hard 2, and I'm like, I've seen that movie already. It was called Die Hard 1.
Yeah, but it was Die Harder. You added the ER, and it made it that much better.
It's watchable because of the cheesiness of it, but I just don't like it in comparison to Die Hard with a Vengeance, I guess. I don't know.
I like the first three. I actually like all the Die Hard movies except the last one that was in Russia. That one was a mess.
That's the only one I dislike. But anyway, Rob, what were you saying?
I just got sent this on Twitter. It's the Disney Axis Die Hard prequel. We talked about that. Yeah, we're talking about that, right?
Yeah,
they're now looking to do a reboot of the whole franchise. So that means new actor, younger version. Now the question is it going to be a remake reboot? And who would they get to play Alan Rickman's part?
If it's gonna appeal to millennial audiences, then we're gonna have to swap out Nakatomi Tower for a Whole Foods. So
it's Die Hard and Whole Foods. Let's just hope they don't get Ryan Johnson to do it.
And that, he's going to subvert your expectations all the time. It'll be Die Hard without guns. It'll subvert your expectations.
10 minutes in, John McClane dies. It's called Die Easy now. 10 minutes, 10 and done. And Disney's like, we thought you were going to make a new franchise of this. Like, well, I wanted to subvert expectations, so main character died.
Oh God! Don't get Ryan Johnson to direct it. That would fuck it all up.
Ryan Johnson sounds. Damn it! You had to bring him up. Damn it! We can talk all day long about Ryan Johnson though. Because someone got pissed off because at the solo mini doc that actually Tom and I wrote it. I called Ryan Johnson. And I deliberately did this. I called Ryan Johnson a largely unproven director. What are you talking about? He worked on Breaking Bad, and he had 2 feature films. I'm like, yeah, 2 feature films. 2.
Three feature films.
Well, whatever. But anyway. But it's
like if Ryan Johnson as a director, like he's good with actors, he's good with visuals. It's just his skill as a writer is really bad. I think he's a pretty competent director, actually, in my opinion. I don't know.
The only mainstream movie he did before this was Looper, though, wasn't it? If that was barely mainstream.
45 slow speed chase.
Looper was mainstream. He did the Brothers Bloom, which was actually he kind of collaborated with Tom Cruise on that up to a point. Originally, that was going to be like a Tom Cruise production at Paramount, but I think Cruise decided to pass on it. I guess Looper was like his first big mainstream film. Again, with Bruce Willis, oddly enough, since we're looking at a picture of him.
Yeah,
maybe they'll get Joseph Gordon-Levitt to play young John McClane in the reboot.
And
I still didn't get that. So,
did you hear in Looper, Joseph Gordon-Levitt had nose putty to make his nose look like Bruce Willis?
You can tell.
This is going to sound petty, but I'm hoping Knives Out not only bombs, but I hope it ends his career.
Well, here's the thing about Knives Out, Rob, which is actually kind of interesting. It's that it's already broken even on its budget. So, they went and sold the international distribution rights before production started, and they were able to, based off of the cast that they got, able to recoup all the costs of the movie. So no matter what it does at the box office, that's pure profit for this film.
Pretty much Child's Play managed not to be a flop. Yeah.
So it's automatically a hit by Hollywood standards because it's going to make money no matter what.
Well, it shouldn't make money. I mean, I wouldn't trust Ryan Johnson to direct a dog food commercial at this point. I mean, that's.
The real question is it going to be a good movie or is it going to be just as bad as The Last Jedi?
Well, okay. But the one thing I always know is to save a bad movie, sometimes you have to do it through casting. And that's what this looks like. I mean, let's get everybody we can who's available. And if it's a few people that aren't available, we'll pretend they're in the movie anyway, in order to sell this film.
I don't know how Ryan Johnson has gotten such a reputation to attract such top tier talent for like a fraction of what they usually make. You know, like it's just bizarre to me. But he seems to like he comes from that critical, independent, darling world.
He's a movie hipster who has no business directing, is what it is, and everybody's kissing his ass, pretending that he's actually talented when he's not. And it's the Beastie Boys all over again. I never liked the Beastie Boys. People are going to hate me for this, but I never liked the Beastie Boys. But they managed to convince enough people that they were talented. Pretty soon, nobody questioned it. So that's what Ryan Johnson really did. He questioned enough people that he knows. He convinced enough people, the right people, that he knows what he's doing, and now he is the latter day Alex Kurtzman. So he's
they're both alive. They're both working at the same time.
They're both working to the detriment of the cinematic art everywhere. So, I remember there was this one scene. It was in the sitcom.
Hey guys, what if Shane Black directs the reboot for Die Hard?
If it was before Predator, I'd be like all for it.
Yeah, since it is a Christmas movie, and that's what Shane Black does. He only makes Christmas.
I fucking
movies.
hated Predator.
No, the Predator. Get it straight.
Okay, the Predator.
The Predator. You have to make it clear.
You are correct.
There's Predator, Predator 2, Predators, and then the Predator.
Oh my God, was it horrible?
It was so bad. It was. I mean, I can't. I recently rewatched that movie because I'm doing a podcast roundtable review on it for my channel, and I couldn't believe. Like, I watched the first Predator, and then I watched the Predator to compare the two, and the Predator was so much worse than I remember because I saw it in the theater, but it was so bad. Oh my God!
I waited for video, luckily, and it was.
But I could totally see Shane Black taking on the Die Hard reboot.
Yeah. But I would love. I don't know if I want to watch Die Hard without Bruce Willis. I really don't. I mean, to me, it's just going to come off like a generic wannabe Die Hard movie.
It's going to be Olympus Has Fallen or whatever.
Robert Pattinson as John McClane.
Fuck you. No.
You know it's going to happen. It's out in the universe now.
Unless he's decent in Batman, no. No, you need to have somebody who's got. See, because even John McClane wasn't a young guy in the first movie. I mean, he was your 30-plus-year-old.
Yeah, but you can't be trying to cast 80s Bruce Willis. You need to work with what you got available.
No, but that's what his character was, though. He was like that generation's Dirty Harry. He's not the.
Well, he was coming off Moonlighting at the time. Like,
I know
he wasn't known for being like a Dirty Harry type character.
His character, though, in the movie is he's an asshole. He's not meant to be the guy who wants to be the hero. He doesn't want to be the hero. He doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to do this. He's stuck doing this.
And you believe that he's a cop too.
Yeah, you believe he's a
long time, and you bought into it. He was on the that he's this guy's thrust into the situation. Okay, now I have to step up. I mean,
everything The Rock isn't.
I don't, and that's the other thing. You get a lot. You get someone like Robert Pattinson. I'm not going to believe for one.
Jason Statham as Hans Gruber.
There you
That's
go.
not a bad choice. Now you're getting in. But
hey, Idris Elba fans, it's your chance to vote for him as Hans Gruber.
There you go.
Oh, and Michael B. Jordan as John McClane.
Oh, I was waiting for somebody to say that. He's too fucking young. I'll just say that now, even though he's probably not. I don't know, but that's not. Both of those choices wouldn't be bad for Hans Gruber, actually.
Idris Elba as a Hans Gruber. I think
that's the thing is you almost have to like perfectly cast it. You almost have to make sure that the script is tight as fuck because every remake.
Do you think there would be an outcry if they race swapped Hans Gruber?
No, they would. They wouldn't.
No.
Idris, I think this is one of the times where Rob would say, "Yeah, Idris Elba's probably all right for the part," even though he doesn't really want him there. Jason Statham, though, is not a bad.
Don't get me wrong. I like Idris Elba in Luther. I think he's fantastic in that.
Oh, he's a great actor.
But stop trying to put him in every fucking movie.
Don't you want him as Aquaman? And Jesus?
According to Idris Elba's fans, he's going to be too busy playing everything from James Bond to Batman to Jesus.
And Space Jesus.
And Space Jesus, yes.
I could see him as a Batman villain. He was great in The Wire.
Two-Face.
Yeah, you could play a young Billy D. Williams.
That's one thing that always kind of pissed me off about that. I like Tommy Lee Jones, but it's like, wait a minute. Billy D. Williams, Lando was Two-Face. What the fuck? He got paid for that, though.
Yeah.
When I had a hard day in Bestman Cloud City, being administrator, I'd like to relax with a nice, cold, refreshing, cold 45 malt liquor. Works every time.
What's that? I'm not going to be in the Batman 3? What's this? A big check? Oh, damn.
Oh, damn. Cold 45 malt liquor. It's the only reason why half of you motherfuckers are here anyway.
And me. I suppose. Why don't we put a cork in this? It's been over an hour. If I do end up staying home tomorrow, you'll probably get lucky and get another stream, maybe. I just did this because I'm not even sure if Rob knows how to run StreamYards yet.
Rob doesn't even know how to pick up dirty laundry.
He just figured out Google Hangouts. So what do? They take it away.
Yeah, there you go.
They take it away. Now Rob can't.
Everything's a mess over here.
Well, he did get a video up today.
There's a reason why it's called Shabby Road Studios.
Oh, Rob, was the Obi-Wan video all you? Did you edit it and everything?
Yep, that's all him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's all. Wow.
Well,
so proud of you. You're growing up.
I apologize, folks.
Very light editing. Oh, you should see the videos on my own channel. Yeah. I'm Tom's in the middle of the Mutara Nebula over there.
The one I had before was making me dizzy. I was apologizing to everybody. I'm like, holy shit.
Tom's the V'ger cloud is
V'ger.
V'ger. All right. You want to wrap this up?
Yeah, we might as well.
All right.
Do we have any super chats? Did I miss any? If I did, I
don't know. Who knows?
Are there any interesting comments in the chat to begin with?
There was a few I popped up here and there. And we did talk about a few of them.
Yeah. Jason Gallagher says he doesn't think he can make a decent Namor movie in this day and age. Deranged Lunatic, hate to bail on you guys about time for Pete and the crew. Oh yeah, Pete.
We're gonna end it anyway, so
head on over there, Pete, the creepy little book. Yeah,
yep. I mean, tell him we said hey.
Tell him we said hey.
Dwayne Johnson is Namor. Oh, good God, I don't know about that.
He could pull it off, although he's gonna be Black Adam, isn't he?
Hi.
Yeah, he's gonna be Black Adam. So yeah, let's we might as well call it a night. If we don't see you tomorrow, we'll probably see you sometime this weekend, I'm sure. Andre's going to be dropping an editorial here anytime, so stay tuned for that. If not tonight, tomorrow morning. And everybody take care. So Matt, tell everybody where they can find you.
If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Matthew Kadish. You can also go to kadishbooks.com to go to my Amazon page to check out my books, or you can visit kadishvideo.com, Kadish video. That'll take you to my YouTube channel where I do other videos for movie news and industry analysis. So if you like the stuff we talk about here on Midnight's Edge, you might get a kick out of that.
Pretty close to the same stuff. And when we're done here, you need to go burn that t-shirt.
What? I like this t-shirt.
I'm just kidding.
I'm a release the Snyder Cut guy.
Oh God, please don't. What makes you think it's going to be any better?
Oh, I'm just joking.
I was going to say. It's like we already know what the Snyder Cut is going to be. We saw it in Batman v Superman and Man of Steel. It's going to suck. It's going to be dark.
It would be terrible. It wouldn't be any better than what we got.
No. Well, I mean, the movie we got sucks too. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, it'd just be the opposite, basically, on the other end of the spectrum. Rob, tell them about us and where the hell that blah, blah takes away.
Yeah, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. That way you're notified of the latest content. Like, subscribe to the main channel, hit the bell icon over there. Notified of the latest content. Check us out on Patreon. Bloopers, updates, lost episodes of my 10-minute stand-up set behind the edge making of videos, and more. If you don't like Patreon, we have Subscribe Star. Check us out there. And we also have PayPal, so you can support the show directly. If you don't have the means to support the show monetarily, then please like, subscribe, share with your friends, your enemies, your acquaintances, relatives, anybody. You see a guy tapping away on a cell phone on the bus. Hey, check out Midnight's Edge. Kind of like The Simpsons. We have subliminal marketing, liminal marketing, and superliminal. Hey, you join the Navy. So, all right, that's going deep. That's a deep dive for that one. And as always, like I say, we cannot do this without you. Check out our friends. Check out Matt Cadius. Check out Professor Geek. Check out The Fan Man. Check out Egotastic Fun Time. Captain Robert April. Check out Doomcock. Check out Gary Nerderotic. Check out Robert Meyer Burnett, the Burnett Work. Check out a lot of people. AC Reviews, Clownfish TV, Jesse Milestone, Ethan Van Skyver. Check out
Justin Miller at the Crow's Nest, which is
Crow's Nest. Head on over to Creepy Little Book. They're already underway. Okay, everybody. We, Aaron Donato, love you guys. Well, the feeling's platonic, okay? Just in an appropriate way.
All right, take care, everybody.
Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time. Try to get the music up.